from 1980 and the American Telecommunications Corporation. Here's the AutoMatic telephone, a combination phone and answering machine. That's the symbol for American Bell, which was the hardware seller for AT&T. It came with an operating guide that set over the various buttons to tell you what they would do. When the system was on, that light would be lit. It's in use, that would be lit. And of course you have your rewind, play, and if you press rewind and erase at the same time, you erase your messages. Sets your answering machine on, sets it off, and here's your outgoing announcement. You can record one or check it. Now when I got this at the estate sale, there was already an outgoing message on it, and I've decided to leave that there just in the interest of its originality. Over here we have a little meter that shows how many minutes are on your answering machine, and I think it's a tape. This is set to 0, and I think that is a tape-based system based on the patent stuff I found on the back. And we'll look at that more. We have our handset, touch tone. There's some phone information there, and that lowest one is a local number. And I think that little dial there would have been to put the phone number of this unit in. We have sort of our mandatory wood grain around. Take the handset off. All right, looking at the bottom of the unit, there's a few interesting things. 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That one's apparently a warranty protector. And we have an information label here. You can see the full model number, 1000TR057. This little thing right there is interesting. Those are a couple of patent numbers dated 1975. Couldn't understand that because everything else is dated 1980. But when I checked the patents, they come back to magnetic tape management things by another company. So apparently this machine probably does use actual tape inside. Ringer equivalence number 1.4. I'd forgotten about that. Used to be all the houses running normal Ma Bell stuff were allowed a certain number of ringers. That had to do with power usage or something. I think most houses were allowed 5 under the straight billing system. So you had to like notify somebody, and they added up your ringer equivalents for your house. And so this one's 1.4, so you're already a little over your limit there. Let's see here. We have a volume ringer button, our incoming phone jack, and then we have a CPC switch that has 3 settings: SXS, X-bar, and ESS. That has something to do with how much dead time is between the messages on your phone, and the phone will hang up. And the system says to pretty much leave it set at ESS. So we'll do that. Another thing you'll see on the label is this PC25. That's pocket coder 25. So that has to match your pocket coder. And I've got the pocket coder here. You'll notice in the lower right, the 25. I've already taken the back off because I wanted to make sure I could hear the beeps, whether it worked or not. This was the 15-volt battery I found inside, but I pressed for beeps and I never got anything. And I tested the battery and it was only 11 volts. So I ordered a new 15-volt battery. Alright, you look at the pocket coder. Press to mouthpiece. We have 2 buttons on the top, one for message to get your messages, and you were supposed to leave a control message on first so that you knew when you would listen to all your messages. When you listen to your control message, you know it was okay to press the other button and erase them. So I wanted that new battery so I could hear the tones. What's this one? This one's the messages. This is the erase tone. I didn't hear any difference in them. What I did do when I tried this was made a recording as best as I could and put it in Audacity to see if there was any type of tone or frequency difference that it could tell, because I certainly couldn't. We'll look at those very, very rough and inconclusive results. I wanted to see if there was a difference in Audacity in the message and erase tones. The top white line right there is the erase tone. You'll notice it's cleaner than the one on the bottom, which is the message tone. The frequency graphs are pretty much the same. Now we're looking at the message tone here on the bottom, which just doesn't seem to be as clean as the top one, although that could have been problems with my recording methodology, which was kind of awkward, to tell you the truth. I noticed the erase and message button are kind of like technically on the back, and I always have time remembering which is which, but it's really a good design, because if you were back in the day and you had that to the mouthpiece, that is the part of the coder you would see. So it makes sense to put the erase and message there for you. Not a bad design. Alright, the last piece of hardware to look at is the transformer. American Telecommunications Corporation. Some of the pertinence. 25 watts. Huh. Quite a lot. Looks like an 81 date code there in the lower right. Maybe this is not one of the very first ones produced. Alright, here's the original box everything came in. I don't know how easily you'll be able to see this, but it's $199.99, so $200. One of the things interesting is this symbol for American Telecommunications Corporation. To me, that looks like a cross between a Chrysler emblem and a witch's ceremony or something like that. It also reminds me of some of those things you'll see on the internet that say, "Can you count how many triangles are in this?" Well, I tried and I just got a headache, so I stopped. But if you want to try and leave your number in the comments, you're welcome to. Let's look at some of the paperwork here. The product of American Bell, a new company. This phone came out when Ma Bell was being broken up, and all kinds of strange things were happening, as we'll see further here in a minute. So American Bell was a new company. Here's some of the guidelines from Genuine Bell. Now, the one thing I like here is, I like this. You have to notify the telephone company, number 2, before connecting this telephone, since you didn't buy it at their store. They were awful picky about that back then. They wanted you to buy or rent the phone from them directly. I remember the AT&T store here locally in the mall. It was very busy, people waiting for things, kind of like a cell company store today. Had to notify them of the ringer equivalence and the FCC registration. Things are much easier today. Alright, looking at the main manual, how to use the AutoMatic telephone. Installation and operation is as easy as 1, 2, 3. And looking at the back, see, it looks like a date code. This is revision 1, July 1980. General Dynamics subsidiary. I won't go through all this. One thing I noticed, whoever had this is one of the pages of our old Indiana Bell billing. There'd be about 10 in your envelope. So in December of '83, they were getting ready for the January 1st, '84 shutdown of Ma Bell, and there was going to be all kinds of changes, so they added this little sheet to your billing package, told you to save it so you'd know what numbers to call, because you call the old numbers, nothing was going to happen. And there's the contents of our package, which were complete in my set. Our contents. You can pause your screen and read that if you're so interested. There's a lot of instructions for a telephone. Prepare your greeting. I like some of the sample greetings they have. I don't know if those are on there or not. Check your messages, helpful hints, sample residential announcements. Hello, I'm the newest member of your family name, and I'm on duty day or night to answer your call. Hints. I like this one at the end. Maybe people still weren't used to answering machines back then, so they talk about comedians and people who leave silly messages. But over time, that should shut down, they say. Strange that you'd even have to think about that now, but, you know, what, 38 years later, we're still getting nuisance calls. There's no doubt about it. Why don't I try and drag this unit to the cable box where my phone system comes from, and some electrical, and we'll see if we can get anything out of this. Is there any life left to this unit at all? All right, let's see if we can check the outgoing announcement.
This is Northwest Management. I am unable to take your call at this time. If, after the tone, you will leave your name, phone number, and message, I will return your call as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm just going to leave that on there for posterity. I'm not going to record a new one. Alright, I have the answering machine set to on. We'll try calling this from my phone and see what happens.
Northwest Management. I am unable to take your call at this time. If, after the tone, you will leave your name, phone number, and message, I will return your call as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Okay, I'm testing the AutoMatic telephone from 1980 to see if it can accept a message. I'm not seeing the counter go up. If this thing does have a tape in it, it's possible it's broken. Let me shut this down. We'll see if we can rewind that. If it took a message. It doesn't appear to have. Now the tape in there might be broken, if that is a tape. Alright, let's try calling out. Well, I'm getting it. Okay, so it does seem to make phone calls okay. It just doesn't record messages. Alright, I voided my warranty and unscrewed all those screws. And here's the inside. Very clean in here. Looks like it's very well designed and built. On, off. I see two different tapes. One's got to be the outgoing announcement and one's got to be the incoming messages. They both look good, so I don't know why it's not taking incoming messages. Let's check our outgoing message, see which one moves. Looks like it's this bottom one here. It goes all the way around to the top, off to the left side, and that's that. I can't play a message because I don't have any. I don't know what would happen if I press rewind. Well, you can definitely see it function. But no tape movement. The tape appears to be good, so I just don't know. So 0 to 20 minute incoming message counter. Seems to be set with that switch there. Okay, well, maybe someday I'll be able to figure it out. But it's nice looking inside. So from 1980 in the ATC company, this has been the AutoMatic telephone. Probably state-of-the-art back then with a combination answering machine and dialing phone. And I'm thinking maybe that's what those patents were for, 1975. Maybe ATC had a standalone answering machine earlier that used those patents, so they're dated that way. But 38 years later after this, only about half the people in the country probably have a phone like this or a landline. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to, leave a comment below, or better yet, leave me a message if you can. Bye.